Hi everyone, my name is Tammy Fenter, and today we are going to be looking at global parameters in our Moderna Tips and Tricks series.
So what are global parameters? Some of you might be asking. So global parameters are parameters that we can add to our project file. It's not family specific or specific to specific elements or families. They're parameters we can add into the project that can help us manage our project a little bit better in terms of sizes. And you can get into things like formulas and stuff for the more advanced users. So we're just going to have a very, very basic look at what global parameters are. So what I've done at the moment is I've kind of set up some global parameters for myself. Now, if we go to the Manage tab and we go to Settings, you can see we've got our global parameters tool. Shortcut is GL. And if I click on global parameters, you'll see that what I've done is I've set up two global parameters over here. So what I've done here is I've got one that measures the distance from a wall. And these are based on dimensions, which you can kind of see at the background there. And the other one I've got set up as ceiling heights, which I will show you in a few seconds. But what we've essentially done here is sometimes within the project, you may have elements that need to be almost equidistant in terms of its positioning in relation to another item. So in this case is what I've got here is a distance of a door to a wall. And this might be for many reasons. It might be because of your ironmongery sizes. It might be because there's an architrave around the door, and that architrave needs to allow for a specific distance from the wall to the door so that you can actually install the architrave. But either way, if there's a distance that the door needs to be away from the wall, and I've done this using the global parameters feature. So here you can see our door distance for all these doors are set to 100 mils from the doors, well, from the walls. And what we can now do with our global parameters is we're able to change all of these elements at once instead of clicking on each door and changing the dimension individually. So I'm going to go to my global parameters, and I'm going to go to my door distance from wall, and I'm going to change these now. Maybe the client decided it needs to be 120 mils away from the wall. Set that to 120 mils, click apply, click OK, and we can now see that those doors have changed to 120 mils from the wall as opposed to just the standard 100 mils that we had. The other example that I have here is based on ceiling heights. So currently we have ceiling heights that are set at 2.6 above finished floor level. Maybe all of these ceilings need to be the same height throughout the project. You can set these up, and you can set up different global parameters for these. So you can have some global parameters that have set up for some ceilings that have to be X height above finished floor level, and you can set global parameters for ceilings again that might be a different height. So it's just how you group the items and manage them at the same time. In this instance, what I'm going to do is now, because I've got all of these items that are set up to 2.6 above finished floor level, I can now go to my global parameters again, go to my ceiling heights and change it from 2.6 to maybe 2750, click apply, click OK, and all of those have updated now at the same time. So it's really just a quick way to change multiple elements at the same time that need to be the same distance, dimension, or height, etc. Okay, so those are global parameters. So for those of you who want to be able to set up your own global parameters, we can go about it in the following way. So depending on what you may need to dimension, let's just use these two doors, for instance. I might have a dimension that I want to add here. Let's add it from the door to maybe the center of this door, and then maybe from here to the center of that door. So our first step really is to create dimensions. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the global parameters. So when I click on my dimension, I'll click. You'll see at the top with your contextual tools, you have label dimension that pops up. We can now go and create the parameter and call this door distance 2. You can be a little bit more creative and probably use the right casing. So we'll set that up. For now, I'm not going to worry about changing that. So I'm going to click OK. And the next one, I'm going to just match the following one. So this door dimension, I'm just going to click from our drop-down box and call that door distance 2 again. So now when we go to our global parameters, and the manage global parameters, you'll see the door distance 2 has now been added in there, and now we can manage these effectively just from this global parameters dialog box. So guys, if you found this tip particularly helpful, would you mind liking it and sharing it? Drop us a comment, and also don't forget to follow us on YouTube as well as all major social media platforms. Thanks very much.